My name is Maria Espinoza with the Remembrance Project, and I want to show you today is a special day, unfortunately, this is our National Day of Remembrance for Americans killed by illegal aliens. We have been recognizing this special day since 2011, and no one has recognized the Angel families, the Remembrance Project, more than President Donald Trump.
Amen.
I thought this banner here was appropriate because these are mothers. Mothers, all who should still be here raising their children or grandchildren, but they're permanently separated from their loved ones through no fault of their own because our politicians do not want to enforce laws. They'd rather have more money from and accept more donations from the Open Borders liberal organization to fill their re-election campaign coffers, while our citizens filled America's coffins. Ladies, go ahead. But this is what the Remembrance Project does. Now, you can go ahead and sit down. Yeah, thank you. I know you stand the whole time. This is what the Remembrance Project does since 2009. And we created the Stolen Lives quilt banners that you saw with this, hundreds of them, memorializing Americans all over the United States. You know, we have ladies here from, 8 or 10 different states. I'm from Texas, and it's great to be back, I have to tell you. We're in the swamp now in D.C., and we're in a lot of trouble. But if the encouragement and the dedication that I see here in the room with ladies is just a speckle of hope, we can take that back to Washington, D.C., because we will take our country back. I was born in a little town called Rotan, Texas, a West Texas town, and my father was born in Mexico, legally immigrated to the United States. Mom is a fifth-generation Texan, and she's a tough cookie. And Dad was a farmhand, worked in the lumber mill. Then, he was the first house flipper, by the way. We had 3 homes, and we would move from across the street or down the street, depending on who wanted the least which home. And then he had an American dream. He owned 3 family restaurants. That is American dream. That is because he assimilated, he followed the law, he did it the right way, and he blossomed along with his children. And I'm one of them, and I tell you, I love this country. And we're going to fight for it, right, Alice?
That's right.
We're going to fight for it. And I want to say that this caravan coming up, and Kim and you, Aisha, thank you so much for calling me and putting this together, because we are going to shine a bright light. If it takes the women here to tell those mostly men in Washington, D.C., and our state houses and our cities to get with the program, so be it, and we'll do it. Now that caravan, we touched on that a little bit, and as far as the crime here, it is unbelievable. And if you can just imagine being there for all the angel families, the mothers and fathers, wives, husbands, where they can't wrap their heads around the idea of how did this happen? How was this illegal alien deported 4, 5, 6, 7, 20 times, had a record, pulled over, detained, let free, driving drunk, pulled over, detained, let go, and still has no record, and went on to kill an innocent American. That's what we're seeing over and over. Since 2009, we have been working. We have been working in our state houses, staying with wonderful patriots who opened their homes for us because we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Bologna sandwiches, peanut butter jelly sandwich, whatever it was, but we made it happen. And Donald Trump was the only candidate who reached out and heard the voices of our angel families. And if it wasn't for him, to this day, I believe that we would still be talking to ourselves. We would be ignored. And the media and I blame the media for much of this as well, just as the politicians. Because the media is supposed to be sharing the truth. So we wouldn't have the Stone Let's Quilt banners, which is why we made them. To connect the dots for people in Harlingen or in Houston and Austin, so we would know that we have a problem. There's an epidemic of killings of Americans by people who should not be here in the first place. And they are not undocumented immigrants. They are illegal aliens. We are a nation with a history of immigration, and we are all Americans or legal residents. We have to be sure that we use the words and the definitions that they were created. We can't conflate illegal aliens with undocumented or undocumented citizens.
That's right.
No such thing. We also want this, with the Caravan, if you heard our friends with Judicial Watch, they went on the ground to Guatemala. They were there, not in pockets where their media was safe. They went in on the ground and mingled around and interviewed them. And Guatemalan officials told them that they had pulled out over 100 individuals connected with ISIS. And that the people who are coming here, a second, and third caravan, they're not your average individual in Honduras. These guys are criminals, tattooed, mostly 98% of them are males, teenagers up to early 40s. They place the women and children in the front. So this is what we have here. This is an intended invasion. President Donald Trump is absolutely correct in sending the troops and increasing the number of troops to the border. This, How many of you still pinch yourselves in the morning? You're like, is it true? I do this all the time with my husband, Tim Lee. Honey, is it true? Pinch me. Is Donald Trump our president?
And Hillary's not our president.
Love it. Yes. So what are the things that we need to do? Well, first of all, let me share a few stories. Because we have angel moms here, and I know that you've heard them when they were interviewing, but we have several families who are still looking for the killer of their loved one. Just a few days ago, it was the 19th anniversary of the brutal murder of Felicia Ruiz, stabbed over 37 times. The 23-year-old illegal alien remains free. At the time, at the time he was 18 years old, and he remains free in Venezuela. After he killed Felicia Ruiz, he was detained by police and questioned. He was released and allowed to escape. I say allowed because if he was illegal in the country and was the last person to see Felicia Ruiz, left the home, her parents' home with her, I would think that I would keep him a little bit longer and do a little more digging into that gang member's background. And here we are, Americans suffering every day, having to, again, understand why this happened, and having to watch the media over and over talk about the separation of the illegal aliens and their families. And I'm so sad that the media left the mainstream over there. But they know who we are. We're not their friends because we tell the truth and because we stand for Americans first. Also, Dan Golvac. You know those jobs supposedly that Americans don't want to do? Dan and Julie Golvac's son, only son, Spencer Golvac, 25 years old, just over 3 years ago. He had 3 jobs. He was a musician at night. He was in the band. He even held a 3rd job in a warehouse to make sure that he met his payroll for the other 9 employees who taught guitar lessons. In his little shop, he built it with his hands. You know, his own 2 hands, the jobs that Americans won't do. That isn't true. That's the political correctness, that's the far left spreading this kind of information. And it's up to us to stop it and tell the truth. Spencer was sitting at a traffic light, dropped his girlfriend off for a birthday dinner. The next day, he was to have his grand opening for his little shop. An illegal alien pulled up beside him and shot him in the head, right here. Spencer died alone in his truck, bled out. And here the families. Where is the media, Julie says, his mother, when she's crying and hollering out for her son? Where's the media when she can hardly get up in the morning and drag herself to get dressed? Where's the media there? Where, what I like to say, are the politicians who did not support to fund the wall? Where are the politicians who are not making sure that Title 8, Section 1324 is utilized to prosecute these mayors, governors, with sanctuary city policies, and judges like the one in Oregon who allowed an illegal alien to escape through her chamber door while ICE agents were out front waiting to detain him, or the Portland mayor who stood down, did not allow the police to answer the 911 call when the ICE agents and their employees in that facility asked for help. Why aren't they being prosecuted? So those are the things that we have really to work on. So we are connecting, collaborating, strategizing with our nationwide networks, and I hope you will join us as well to be able to implement and actually encourage our officials to do the right thing. If it was any of us, we would be jailed. In fact, if we printed counterfeit money in our backyards because, oh, we so deserve a vacation, ladies. I know I do. Do you think the local authorities, politicians, are reelected upon that because of far left? Because they have no courage. But I look out here today and I see courage. And I'm encouraged. So I want to thank you, ladies, so very much. I leave you with one little statement that a family shared 5 years ago, and I can't believe we're still in this. When he participated in a press conference where we pushed back on the Gang of Eight. He said, go home, gather your children, and select which one you will sacrifice for someone else to have a better life. And that's the question we need to ask all of our elected officials. God bless you, ladies. Keep it up. Keep up the fight. And again, thank you. And absolutely fund the wall.